So I want to begin this video by asking you a pop quiz. Do you think that pain is good, or do you think that pain is bad? Where do you think pain is useful, and where do you think pain is toxic? What I'm going to suggest in this video is that pain is a very, very good fire starter or igniter to get you on the right path. It's not a good place to operate from permanently. In fact, that is one of the most terrible things in the world. But pain is meant to be an indicator light for you that actually helps you to wake up, stop messing up, and have a better life. Now, what do I mean by this? Let's say that you have a dream of being really, really good socially. You want to have way better friends. You want to learn how to network with the best people. You want to be able to go into any environment, meet the most attractive people, and have them as a part of your life. So maybe you have that dream. Maybe you have the dream of making a lot of money. And you'd like to be able to come out to places like this. You'd like to live in a fat crib. You'd like to go to all sorts of different educational trainings that might seem out of reach. You want to get the clothes you want. You want to go to the restaurants that you want. You want to go visit the place you want. You want financial freedom. You want to stop being stressed. Maybe you want to have more energy. Maybe you want to have more focus. Maybe you want to be more intelligent. Maybe you want to be more spiritually tapped in. Maybe you want to stop just being mediocre or less. Maybe you want to stop being amazing because you want to be the best of all time. Whatever it is, whatever, I don't care. What I want you to do right now is I want you to acknowledge your pain that you don't have it. And here's why. Pain is an impetus for growth. If you stay there permanently, you can become a dark, kind of Luciferian type of individual. It is very, very bad. But what pain is meant to do is to get you to snap out of it. It's to snap you out of apathy. The reason why I think this is important is because I see a lot of people who are medicating their pain, running away from their pain, stuffing their pain, disavowing their pain, and doing anything to stay numb. And what winds up happening is that because you're in pain when you do this, your entire life winds up becoming centered around running away, stuffing, hiding, medicating, and being numb. And this is what initiates the derp state, right? This kind of hazy state where you're looking for the mental path of least resistance or the physical exertion path of least resistance, and then your version of fun is to be numb. And this is why you see a society of people who will tolerate outrageous things that happen in 2020. I mean, we always knew that society was mostly filled with people in a sheep-like mentality and a kind of a derpy haze. We knew that. But in 2020, we really, really saw what that was. Like, we saw the end outcome where those seeds have been planted, and we finally saw the yield of that and where that's going, and it could actually get more extreme. So you see that the average person is basically taking the path of least resistance. Like, let's work a job that's laid out to me. Let's achieve a level of success that's laid out for me. Let's date and get married to the kind of person that I think, is predetermined for me. Let's just allow weird psychos to tell me all these lies in the media and then just believe it. Let's just sit there not having the life that I want, and then rather than acknowledging the pain around that, let's just medicate the pain. And then my version of a hobby is getting drunk on the weekend or smoking weed or playing too many video games or eating fast food or things like that. Like, or trashing people and gossiping so that I can feel like I'm better than them. Like, oh, look, those people are bad. Let's watch reality TV, call those people bad. And then I can feel better than them. And basically just taking any easy out to actually stepping up, right? And so what happens is that the entire world becomes numb and everybody gets spaced out, and it's because they don't acknowledge their pain. You've got to acknowledge your pain. The only other alternative than acknowledging it is numbing it, medicating it, stuffing it, in which case you go into this haze, and that's what you see everybody in. So what winds up happening is people wind up getting in this path of least resistance mode because they're in so much pain. And so if you were to take on some kind of larger goal, what would happen is you'd have to focus. And to focus, you'd have to get present to the moment. And when you get present to the moment, you feel this mild refrigerator hum of discomfort. And it just kind of makes you feel weird and fidgety and antsy, and you can't focus. And then you need to numb yourself out. So instead what you want to do is I want you right now to stop hiding from your pain. And I want you to say right now, let's imagine your life right now. Let's look at the trajectory that you're on. What you might even want to do is write down the entire way that you're filling out your day, what your habits are, what you're eating, what you're reading, what you're looking at, where you're going. And then as you write that out, take another page and write out your dream life and what it is that you want. And then what I want you to do is I want you to look at the gap between where you are now and where that's going to lead and where it's going to get you. What you're generally going to find is that decay and destruction and things going bad kind of has its own momentum, or life and expansion and energy and upward momentum also has this incredible rocket ship like upward momentum, okay? So it's like you're either growing or dying. It's one or the other. Then what you could do, there's something called the Dickens pattern, where basically what you do is you imagine to yourself, what is your life going to look like in a week if you keep doing this? What is your life going to look like in a month if you keep doing this? What is your life going to look like in a year? What is your life going to look like in 10 years? What is your life going to look like in 50 years? What is your life going to look like on your deathbed? And you have to look at your life right now. Now, a properly done Dickens pattern, teachers like Anthony Robbins will do this. You'll see Tony Robbins, he'll do this. He'll get a room at events like Unleash the Power Within, and he will have 5,000 people just scream and cry. I mean, it could be bigger than 5,000. I've been to 18,000 person Unleash the Power Within, for example, and you'll just see Tony turn the lights off, and you've got 18,000 people in a room screaming and crying and breaking down. Well, why would that be valuable for personal growth? That is valuable for your growth because it's connecting you to your pain, so that what you can actually do is acknowledge that you don't like this situation, acknowledge that you hate it, own that, but then use that to look at your habits day to day, look at the behaviors you're engaging in, the mentalities, the beliefs, the paradigms, the people that you're around, everything going on in your life. You can look at that and you say, you know what, I can't live like this. This is just not how I can live my life. This just completely, utterly sucks. So then what you could do is, once you have clarity on that and you can sit with that pain, now you don't just attack yourself. You don't beat yourself up. You don't make yourself into the bad guy or bad girl or bad person. What you do instead is you say to yourself, okay, I'm not a bad person. I'm just in this kind of weird environment of people in low paradigms. I got sucked into it. I allowed other people to put me on their agenda, something I talked about the other night. And basically, I just messed up. It just is what it is. I made mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. And then using that pain, you can begin to re-examine your entire life and put it all into context. And then from there, if you just begin changing things, you start getting out of pain because you start knocking down small wins. So an example of something that I've given to people to do, let's say you want to go out and socialize. What I say is celebrate every small win. Why is that? Because the first step is to acknowledge your pain of how much life sucks. And then from there, start to acknowledge small wins. Then what you want to do is you want to start stacking small wins. Then you stack small wins. Then you start to create a new identity out of it as somebody who's in upward momentum and winning. And then what you do is you create a completely higher standard. Now, what they say is that one of the most powerful forces in human behavior is the desire to be congruent to your identity. So for whatever reason, once we have a general identity in society, we want to be congruent to that because we don't want to be, appear to be kind of liars and BSers. So what winds up happening is that as you begin to create an identity as a higher level person, it'll get to the point where your entire psychology shifts and it's almost impossible to fail. Now, why do I say that? You have this thing called reticular activation system. That is your selective focus. You should look that up. RAS. It's your selective focus. Look it up. Do a search on it. They have all these different exercises. It shows how your focus is selective. It shows you how you see things from different angles. There'll be these exercises with RAS where they'll say they'll show you a paragraph. They'll say how many of the letter F's is in it. And you'll think there's 2. And they're like, no, there's 15. You're like, that's impossible, there's 2. And then it's like, keep looking. And you're like, wait, no, there's 3. Keep looking, there's 4. Keep looking, there's 5. And it will take you like half an hour to an hour to find all the different F's in the paragraph, things like that. So perception is very, very subjective. We don't believe what we see what we believe. If we think there's a lot of opportunity, there's a lot of abundance, we see that. If we believe there's a lot of scarcity, we see that. Our perception is very, very skewed. Human communication is near impossible. You will see in this very video, people who love the video and they say it's my favorite video and you're so great. There's gonna be other people in the comments say the video sucks and you're so bad because people see things in different ways. Somebody's gotta be right. Who is it? The truth is, it's in the eye of the beholder, what they're getting out of it personally. So it depends where you're at, right? If you're somebody who has ever seen bad comments under my videos, you're like, I really like his videos. How could anybody think that? If you're somebody who hates these videos, and you see people who like it, and you're like, what are they getting out of it? You've got to understand, people see things through their own filter. Their focus is selective, and then they even make identities based on the world that they see. So as you, step 1, acknowledge your pain. Step 2, begin to stack small wins. Step 3, create an entirely new identity. Then step 4, what starts to happen is you start to find things that allow you to reinforce that new identity. If your identity is as a comedian, you could be in a restaurant and I'm in a restaurant. I'm looking maybe at like the self-help components of the restaurant. That's where my RAS is going. But you're a comedian, you're watching the quirky things the waiter is doing, quirky things that you're doing, that I'm doing, different interpersonal dynamics, somebody that dropped their wallet, things like that, and you're making jokes out of it. My RAS is focused on my next personal growth video. Your RAS is focused on comedy. Another person is focused on how people are evil, the world is miserable, people are bad, there's a scarcity, lack of opportunity, and they're focusing how, the waiter gave them a slightly funny look at one point, even though they're overall positive. They're focused on how the waiter was slightly late, even though the food was amazing and service was overall amazing, and they focus on that. Everybody's going to see things according to their existing beliefs. You don't believe what you see what you believe. It's actually a bit of both, but you see my point. The filter is massive. Even communications between humans is so hard. That's why people see things so differently. They get in arguments, and so on and so forth. So what will begin to happen is that, again, you acknowledge your pain, you look at your life, you decide what it is you really want, you start moving forward, you stack small wins, you create a new identity, that shifts your reticular activation system, that allows you to start seeing different opportunities start to open up, and then you just take massive action. That's the next step, is massive action. And then what's gonna happen is you're gonna start stacking bigger and bigger and bigger wins, and then what you've now done is what's called up your standards. Your standard's just too high. That's where you get to be the kind of person where if you're a multimillionaire, for example, you could lose all your money, and within 18 months flat, you're gonna be a multimillionaire again. Versus somebody who's flat broke, they have lower standards, and then even if they make money, they wreck it, and that's why they say that most people that win the lottery, like 95% of them, wind up broke within 5 years, even with astronomical amounts of money. So the key to all this process, the first step, is just acknowledging your pain. And so what I'd like you to do as an exercise is I would like you to go out, and I'd like you to actually just look around at the people that you see out and watch what their real version of fun is. Is their real version of fun to be joyful and expansive and to move up in life and have all these wild and awesome new experiences, to go deeper spiritually, psychologically, to be more, to share more, to raise up the playing field, to encourage others to do the same? Or are their standards basically being in pain, staying numb, taking the path of least resistance, and basically being a sub in the sub-dom dynamic between the masses and the elites? And we saw this hit a critical mass in 2020 when this basic sub-dom relationship, where the elites are like the doms and the masses are like the subs, and it's just like, the elites are just like 2 + 2 = 5, and the subs are like, yes, be dirty to me, daddy. I'll say 2 + 2 = 5. I'm bad. And they're like, you are bad. Now say 2 + 2 = 5. Yes, 2 + 2 = 5. And this just got completely crazy. I mean, this whole thing of people being in pain and being in trauma and getting numb and then just hiding from it and then just basically becoming a sub, it's crazy. And that's where the world is at. So the world needs to begin, and you need to, don't just say the world, you need to personally begin to own your pain, acknowledge it, but then not just sit with it. Okay, so in other words, don't do what most people do, where they become a derping, zombie-like creature. Again, human beings, worthy, protect all life always, don't dehumanize people, but behaving in a manner like a zombie, in a derp state, and then basically allowing for the destruction of the world, right? That's probably not good, right? Don't allow that, and being some kind of sub, like a piggy with a ball in your mouth, don't let that get to that point. Not the path. No buenos, right? Let's just not. It doesn't scare me per se, because I believe in a higher power, and I know that this isn't all there is. So if this all just gets ruined, it is what it is. I'm looking forward to seeing you, my children, and other good people on the other side of this. But if you also want to value here too, don't contribute to that dynamic, because that's going to be the end of us. Don't contribute to that. Okay, contribute to the human awakening. And the first way to contribute to human awakening is your own awakening. So begin to acknowledge your pain. The world's in pain. And what happens is that then they get baited in by the doms to say, just listen to us. Say 2 + 2 = 5. We'll feed you more things to keep you numb. We'll feed you more things to keep you on autopilot. We'll feed you more things to justify your low-level existence because you are a victim. Now numb yourself. Let's all numb ourselves and be on autopilot and not think and say 2 + 2 = 5. Why? Anybody who says 2 + 2 = 4, get them! We're in pain. We're in pain. Follow the path leaders. Follow the herd. Run. Attack, mob, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, okay, that's gotta end. Okay, that's been the sort of running joke with anyone with half a brain, including a lot of marketers that just see the masses, what they buy and their spending habits, and we're just all like, these people are freaking crazy and we can't fight them on this. Okay, so that's been a running joke, but it wasn't funny anymore after 2020. Okay, that's what's like, maybe this is like kind of not funny. Right? Like, whoa. So you see the point, okay? The world's in pain. When you go through life, just begin to look at people and see the pain that they're carrying, and look and say, are they just trying to be numb and go on autopilot and do the path of least resistance? Are they medicating it? Are they hiding from it? Are they making a victim identity out of it? Are they perhaps even acknowledging their pain but living in it and making a victim identity, getting super angry and collectivizing with other people in that mode and just running around going crazy on attack mode? Are they doing that, just being fueled by pain like a satanic evil energy running through them, attacking everybody that doesn't conform to 2 + 2 = 5? Is that where you want to go? Or is what you want to do is you want to own the pain and begin the process of releasing that pain by allowing it to be the medicine, the cleansing fire that adjusts your behavior, gets you to look at your life, and like we said, the basic level pattern, acknowledge the pain, take it in, think about what you don't like about your life. Next up, look at how you're living your life, and then realize that this is self-inflicted. Find the resources that you need to do better. You will find them. They are out there. I'm here to help as well. Keep finding. Then what you do is after you audit your life, then start stacking small wins, begin to want to be congruent to that new identity, allow your reticular activation system to open up and find new opportunities, start getting big wins, and then from there, you're going to actually have raised your standards and inspired the other people around you. And now, rather than being a part of the problem, you're part of the solution, and you can begin to get on the side of life, expansion, goodness, self-reliance, freedom, and beauty. And that's what you'll be. I'm here to help you. If you want to learn more, I do free events all over the country. I do the big one, I do those big cities like New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, San Francisco. I do them all the time, but I also do medium-sized cities like Philadelphia, Boston, Washington, D.C., Miami, Seattle, San Diego. I'm all over the place, okay? Just all over the place. You know, I'm literally leaving, this week as of recording this. It might be posted a bit later for Philadelphia, New York. I got Seattle, San Fran, Chicago coming up, Dallas, Houston, Austin, Boston, Washington, D.C., San Diego, Los Angeles. I'm doing these events. I'm all over the place. I'm going to do it in Honolulu. Click the link below. Come and join me. I send you a free course with the powerful foundations of what we talked about here. Very well structured and very laid out as soon as you jump on. Or if you can't jump onto this, if you can't jump onto that, but you want to get the free course, click the link below and I do a phone call that takes you through a similar process that I do with the free course. I want you to have human-to-human interaction. And if you just sign up for that free call, I'm going to send you a several-hour, very well structured free course that's going to take you to the promised land on all these issues. We're going to go way deep inside this free course. You're really going to enjoy it. So just click the link below and let me help you. And you can imagine an environment where we're actually in a class together, and I've been teaching this for over 2 decades at this point. In a class together, we're doing this, and it's just a lot of fun. And I'm gonna be kind of hitting you with the most crazy, over-the-top exercises. I'm gonna be taking you through processes. It's just gonna be crazy. It's gonna be epic. I'm gonna be showing you things that your perception's doing, blind spots that you don't know that you have. I'm gonna really wake you up. I'm gonna show you how to figure out what your purpose is, how to figure out what direction to go, what your life looks like. I'm gonna show you a lot of hard social skills that I've actually been out in social gathering environments for 2 decades to learn, that I've had my elbows in the mud, super duper OG content that's so deep. I'm gonna show you how to get tapped in spiritually, how to communicate, how to do public speaking, how to do all this without crutches, and how to do all this without taking the easy route, but in a way that involves deep identity level change. So you're not acting like it, but you are it. And I want you to have that experience. And I'm really excited for you to have it. And I love you very much. I hope that you enjoyed this video about stopping being part of the problem, acknowledging your pain, and using that not to live there, become a permanent victim and find other victims in pain and just sit there on fire, but rather using that as corrective action, putting you on the right path, elevating you, using it almost like, a rocket ship, and it burns all that energy to get out of the gravity. But once it's out of the gravity, those just fall off, and now you're out in space, and with almost no energy at all, you're shooting all through the galaxy, enjoying life, not tethered by gravity anymore. You had that escape, you had that aggressive gravity holding you down. You pass that escape velocity, now you're out in space and the whole galaxy is opened up to you. Your pain are those aggressive rockets that shoot you out of apathy, shoot you out of the derp state, shoot you out of that sub-dom relationship with the masses and the elites, gets you out of that weird dynamic that's so crazy, gets you out of that and gets you to who you are. Love you very much. Excited to meet you in person, excited to work with you, excited to chat with you over the phone, excited for you to do that free course, and excited for you to change your life. I'll be back with more very soon. I'm actually headed back to Los Angeles right now from Big Sur. I'll be back with more. Peace.